They'll tell you that you can't do it alone. They'll say you need someone, friends, allies, help. But where were they when your world was falling apart? Where were they when the nights were long and the silence hit harder than any scream? Let me tell you something. Sometimes the only person who will ever fight for you is you. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll stop waiting for someone to save you. No one's coming. No one's gonna lift you up. You have to do it alone. It hurts to hear that, doesn't it? That in this world full of people, millions of voices shouting around you, you're still on your own. It's not fair. It's not supposed to be this way, but this is reality. It's harsh. It's unforgiving. And the moment you accept that, you'll find something you never thought possible. Your own power. So let this be your wake-up call. This is your permission, your command, to stand up, even if no one stands with you. To rise, even when the ground beneath you crumbles. This is how you survive. This is how you win. Alone. Do you remember the promises people made to you? The ones who said they'd always be there, who'd never leave. What happened to them? They walked away, didn't they? One by one, until all that was left was you and your regrets. And maybe you spent nights wondering, was it my fault? Did I push them away? No, it wasn't you. It was them. People leave when things get hard. They're good at talking, good at making promises when the sun's shining. But when the storm comes, they scatter like leaves in the wind. And there you are, soaking wet, shivering, standing in the rain alone. But listen carefully. That's where the shift happens. That's where you stop being a victim and start being a force. You have to stop waiting for people to come back. They won't. And if they do, they'll come back only when they need something from you. You can't afford to wait for anyone. Life won't pause for you just because you feel lost. The world keeps spinning. Time doesn't stop. If you don't move now, you'll stay stuck, watching everyone else move forward while you sink deeper into the mud. Loneliness is a curse, isn't it? It weighs on your chest like a brick, makes every breath heavier, and every day feel endless. But what if I told you that loneliness isn't your enemy? What if I told you that being alone can be the most powerful thing to ever happen to you? Because when you're alone, that's when you meet yourself. Not the version of you that wears a mask for the world, not the one that smiles when everything inside is falling apart. No. When you're alone, you meet the real you. The one who's raw, tired, but still breathing. And once you know who you really are, without the noise of others, you unlock something terrifying and beautiful: self-reliance. You stop needing people to validate your worth. You stop waiting for applause. You stop begging for someone to notice your effort. You become unstoppable, not because you don't feel pain, but because you've learned how to carry it without falling apart. That's the magic of doing it alone. When you stop looking for a hand to hold, you realize you don't need one. Your 2 feet are enough to carry you wherever you need to go. I know what you're thinking. What if I fall? What if I can't do it alone? Let me tell you this. You're going to fall. It's not a question of if, it's when. And you'll hit the ground harder than you ever imagined. You'll have moments where you want to give up, where everything feels pointless. And in those moments, no one's going to pull you up, but that's okay. You don't need someone to save you. Falling isn't the end. Staying down is. So fall. Fall 100 times if you have to. But every single time, get back up. Wipe the dirt off your hands. Wipe the tears from your face. Look at the ground you just hit, and then step over it. Because every fall teaches you how to rise. Every failure sharpens your will. And slowly, quietly, without you even noticing, you become something unbreakable. People will talk. They always do. They'll say you're making a mistake. They'll tell you you're crazy for trying. They'll laugh behind your back, waiting for you to fall. But guess what? Their opinions don't matter. They don't know your journey. They don't understand the war you fight every day just to get out of bed. So let them talk. Let them doubt you. Let them underestimate you. Because here's the thing. Your success will silence them. Not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually they'll see what happens when someone chooses to do it alone. When you walk your path, with or without anyone by your side, you prove to the world, and to yourself, that you don't need approval to be great. You just need grit and the willingness to keep going when everything inside you says stop. Victory is different when you do it alone. It's heavier, it's lonelier, but it's real. No one can take it from you. No one can say they made you. The wins you earn by yourself belong to you, and only you. And that's the kind of victory that changes everything. It doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you fearless. Because once you've walked through fire alone, nothing and no one can scare you anymore. You realize that people aren't the answer. They never were. You are. You've always had what it takes. Every time you doubted yourself, every time you felt weak, it was just a lie your mind told you. The strength was always there. You just needed to strip away the noise to see it. Look in the mirror. That person staring back at you, they're enough. They've always been enough. And when the world forgets you, when friends vanish, when everything crumbles, you'll still have yourself. And that's all you'll ever need. So stop waiting. Stop hoping someone will come along to make things easier. Do it alone. Build your life with your two hands. Fight your battles with your own strength. Climb every mountain. Face every fear. And when you reach the top, know that you did it by yourself. And that, my friend, that's how you become unstoppable. They tell you that strength is found in numbers, that power comes from people rallying behind you. But that's a lie. The real strength, the kind that lasts, comes from standing alone. It comes from facing your fears without anyone to hold your hand. It comes from walking paths no one else dares to tread. And when you walk alone, you learn things no one else can teach you. You learn how to survive when everything falls apart. You learn how to move forward without a map. And most importantly, you learn that fear isn't something to avoid. It's something to walk through. The lonelier the path, the stronger you become. Each step forward, no matter how painful, builds a version of you that no one can break. Because there's power in saying, "I've got this," even when no one's there to hear it. There's power in standing tall when every voice told you to sit down. And there's power in walking alone, not because you wanted to, but because you had no other choice. One of the hardest truths to swallow is that loyalty is rare. The people you thought would never leave, they'll leave. The ones who said they'd fight with you, they'll disappear when the battle gets hard. And when that happens, it feels like betrayal. It cuts deeper than any wound. But betrayal teaches you something precious. You don't need them. You never did. Their absence doesn't break you. It reveals you. It shows you that loyalty is a gift you give to yourself first. And the moment you stop expecting it from others, you set yourself free. Doing it alone doesn't make you weak. It makes you unstoppable. Every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, builds a version of you that's untouchable. You've been through hell, and you've come out stronger. You no longer fear failure, because you've survived it before. You no longer fear loneliness, because you've made peace with it. You no longer need approval, because you've learned to trust yourself. When you do it alone, you become a force of nature, a storm that no one saw coming. You move in silence, but your impact is loud. You don't need anyone to believe in you, because you believe in yourself. This is your power. This is your strength, and this is your life to build, exactly how you want it. So keep going, keep building, keep fighting, because when you do it alone, you don't just survive, you thrive. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Until next time.